Alrighty, so got a few shots here to look over. We got this shot over here with a lovely lens flare coming out from the top right. Just beautiful, just coming out. And one would say that tracking with that on is kind of difficult, but honestly, it's not that difficult at all. And we'll see that here in a finished product, that it'll be gone with the high pass settings that we set up in the image prep. It'll just get rid of that nonsense and make it very simple to track any point here. So for instance, this spot, if I wanted to, or this spot, it'd be much easier to track it. And we can build an environment as well and have it stick. And it's kind of odd. We're not really too used to seeing if distortion works in like these kind of shots, but there is an apparent distortion. It's actually distorting this way. It's going like this, kind of bending out. And it's something to look forward to, especially with solving these shots. You might get a high error at first, but if you do calculate with the distortion, it's going to probably ease that pain away. It's going to make that error lower, as well as make a better solve, because it's calculating for that. So let's try to do the same kind of thing in this other shot we have. Pretty straightforward. It's as simple as the other shot, but it'll get us more motivated and strengthen us with some tips and tricks to get this stuff out. So, alright, first thing I'm going to do is going to look at this, see how the camera's moving. It's going left like this, that way. See it? It's not too bad. It has parallax everywhere. And first thing we're going to do is to P to image prep. Let's go to levels and change this as close as we can to 0.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Closer to the mid. And change the interpolation as well as the channel and the filter. Let's start off with the basic usual numbers we always do. We can already see stuff pops up. This pops out, that pops out. Pretty easy to track this one with all that high pass settings we do. So I kind of did a high pass already because I don't want to wait for this to cache. So I'm going to close this for a second. Yep. And we're going to see it's also going to be shot with a Sony PXW5S5. Or it could have been shot with an ARRI Alexa. It could have been a cropped footage for we know. It could have been with this output, but then cropped later in any other software. So, alright, here's a shot. It's not bad. With a high pass, we could see a ton of features to track. And let's get started. After we check the edit shot, so when you open the shot up, you're going to see a couple of different settings here. I changed it to an ARRI Alexa, but I'm going to switch it now to the PXW. So I'm going to click this guy, Control C to copy. I'm going to go here to edit shot again. I'm going to do Control V to paste. Might seem minor, but it's not too big of a deal. Change it to Mitchell, float, and 8-bit to store. It's going to make things a little quicker, faster, easier to process. And okay, see a ton of features. I'm going to start off with this. I'm going to hit 5 to center on it and lock to it. Make this tracker nice and small, as well as the region for it to go for. It's going to go here. Does it come back? No? Alright, that's cool. So let's try to see things this way. So I have a tracker here. Hit spacebar to keep on going. And hit D to go little by little. And if it slips off, it's fine. Just hit E to kind of turn it down here. So it disables it. E to disable. And then E to re-enable. So I'm going to click this guy on. It's going to be off position. It's fine. We're going to just drag him back in there. Hit A and F to toggle between the frames. Go back to this. And I'm nudging it with a numpad. I can use 4, 8, 6, and 2 to go up, down, left, right, and down respectively. So 4 will go left, 6 will go right, 8 will go up, and 2 will go down. Use that to your advantage. We can always just quickly move things like that instead of going here and nudging it into place. It'll be more accurate with the numpad. So once I'm happy with it, I'll just keep on tracking. So go here. And keep on going. Spacebar and hit plus to lock it. See, now the tracker is there. And I can do Shift R to go backwards. So now I'm tracking to the right. Now Shift R, tracking to the left. And if I didn't like it before, I can hit right click to re-evaluate that key. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're gonna see it's probably shifting. Right click it to go back into place. Right click it, so now it's all even. There we go. You could do that for every tracker if you want, or we could just keep on going. So this will change it to the algorithm. So it's a black dot feature. It's not a white dot, so it's not gonna snap onto it. But if you have the black dot, it's gonna snap onto it immediately. So there we go. Snag is a bug. Spacebar it. It's fine. If it goes out, it's fine. Just hit E, hit plus. It's gone. It's coming back. Next guy, do this. Make it a little bigger. Region of interest. Spacebar it. It's not too bad. Sure. Next guy, can do this. Squeeze it there. And voila. Pretty simple track. Now I could either fast forward this or I could carry on, but I feel like maybe it's helpful for some people out there if they want to see the whole process. I don't mind. I could do this all day. I do it for a living, so it doesn't bother me, but it might be like paint drying for someone just watching this. You're just staring at something that you could be doing at the same time, but it's okay. Everyone learns differently. I'm not opposed to either, so I'm going to keep on tracking happily across this pillar. And there we go. Beautiful. So I'm going to keep on doing that. I can get stuff in the background too. I'm shifting R to go backwards again. I love using hotkeys. It makes things faster. The faster I finish this, the faster I go to the next shot and then finish the day. Especially if you're freelancing at home or something, you're doing remote work, you could finish shots pretty quickly and then just call it a day. Enjoy your day as well. So here we go. I'm gonna click this guy, snap him back on, spacebar, and do it again for this guy, spacebar, E, spacebar, click, put him back, snap on, and I have to see how it goes, and then spacebar. So pretty quick. It's not too bad. If it goes away, it's fine. Just hit E, spacebar, snap him back on. And there he goes. Well, let's get some more people here, and we'll be set. So here we go. Control Z to undo. If you do mess up, it's fine. We all mess up. So it makes us human. So there we go. Nice little trackers. Off in the background. Might track some of these guys. There we go. Oh, that's fine. If it goes away, we just hit E and get rid of that. It's fine. Don't have to recalculate it. We could do a few more frames afterwards, but for shots like this where it's not needed, it's fine. In other shots though, if it is required for distortion values or anything like that, or if the CG is going to be here, we would have to track the rest of it, but I think it's pretty forgiving at this point. And track this guy over here, give us some more of that parallax. It's like we're typing some essays right here, but we're not. Okay, I could see a bit more trackers to do. It's like the whole world is up to you, you know, you could track anything here. It's all up to you. So now's a great time to try this out for yourself. If you have any issues, you could come back and watch this. You can rewind and see how things go again. Maybe I was going too fast. I do apologize. Let's see here. A lot of it's just repetition. A lot of it is doing it manually as well. The more you do it, the better you'll be. Like anything, I suppose. Spacebar, E, spacebar, goes back, click that. ANF, keypad, numpad, whatever you try to call it. Spacebar, done. So far, so good. I mean, I could get some more features here. It'll help out the solve. The more spread out, the better. So go here. It's gonna get killed. No, it stayed the whole time. It's impressive. I love this little smudge here. It's just flying around. It's pretty cute. Okay, next guy. Get this fellow over here. Space bar. There we go. Beautiful. Simple. Space bar. I miss these kind of shots. Usually I get like these insane shots from time to time that kind of drive you a little insane. Because you have to think a little more logically with how the camera solves and you have to make up the camera movement. And we'll probably review one of those later, but for now getting the hang of things is priority. So probably get a few more trackers here. Let's not be lazy. Shift R, go the other way. Comes back on, click here. Use a numpad or the keypad. And voila. So many points, but nothing over here. Let's try to spice up some life over here. There we go. Goes out, it's fine. Just kill it and then come back over here. Come over here. This guy sounds like a good plan. Space bar. There we go. Could probably get a few more over here. Now, in times like these, sometimes it's best to just move on. Like if you have other shots to do, it'd be wise to move on. So at this stage, I like to see how the solve goes. After one more point, come on, let's not be lazy. Come on, okay. There we go. Cool. Don't have to Control S to save. If you want to, that's fine. If you don't, let's go to. Okay, the usual F2 to go back here, 5 to get out of that locking. I'm gonna go here to more, 12 for transitions. So everything that went away and came back afterwards, such as this guy or any of the other guys, it's gonna try to smooth it 12 frames. So not really smooth, but you'll see. So let's see what it gives us. 0.29 error. That's pretty good, and the cloud looks good. I like it. It's a 10. Cool. I feel like there's a bit of distortion like the other shot. It was the same kind of camera, so better safe than sorry. If nothing changes, that's fine. We could always kill it back. F3 to see how it goes. L to lock it into place. And yeah, it has a bit of distortion. Look at that curve. Probably not as apparent in your screens, but I could see it clearly. Look at that. So, pretty good solve. I think the camera's doing that motion. Yeah, let's go into the left. And we're gonna try to make Geo now. So, let's make a plane. A good old plane. The best plane. So 2400, 2474. And I'm just using tab to go through all these guys. I'm centering it so it's like a basic Maya grid. What I could do is use this to my advantage. So if I scale in whole, in 3D whole effects meshes, you can scale from wherever pivot you want. So I like this pivot. I can do that, or I can even rotate from there. So if you want to line up the world, you can. Rotate from here. Do this. Do that. It's not too bad. Look at that. Pretty nice. Lines up nicely. We're going to try to line this guy up. That's cool too. We could do that. Huzzah. If it's not accurate, well, we can make it accurate. Let's make it a little bit better. There we go. So if we hit F4, we could see the world's now to that kind of shape. And hit play, and it keeps it. Look at that. Of course, these are not super straight lines. We could get away with it a bit. But if you're very, very attentive to it, that's cool too. We could fix that for you if it bothers you. There we go. Now this line straight, that line straight. Let's make this other line straight. There we go. That's the distortion going playing games on us. So let's try to pin. So I'm going to select the guys on the floor, the ones we like to trust. That guy too. Why not you two? Sure. We're going to color them over here in the trackers panel. Let's color them white or orange, whatever one you like best. I'm going to drop onto the mesh and then weight these guys a little more so those will do a little more of the work for us in the solve. So I'm going to refine and constrain to keep those points as they are. Let's see the graph. Cameras, camera, solved path. Close that. You can see that path right now. The Y motion is pretty jittery, so let's see how this goes. Still pretty jittery, but now we're locking on that ground plane to what we want, so it won't be too bad. Honestly, we could track this guy and make this part a little better. And we can do that, but for the sake of this and your time, let's just go with the show. Let's filter this so it gets more smooth. You can either do that with this if you want. You can manually do that. That's cool, and you could very much do that. But there's another method if you want. You could go to this filtering control, change the frequency to 50, which is the highest number. Choose all of them or just one of them. That's up to you. And you could click this or hit enter or do both at the same time. You're going to see it slowly smoothing that curve to what we want it to be. If you want all of these guys smoothed out, you can. And reset the filter afterwards and make sure you're on frame 1. If you're on this frame, it'll try to smooth it out oddly. So it'll start with frequency 5 and then 50 if you did 50 here. So same with the axis lock. Try to go to frame 1 first to lock it. Now with this, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. We're going to do 60. It's the average number and hit get to keep this path. You're going to see that with 60, it's kind of like the middle ground. Any higher, like 120, it's kind of like locking it like 0. For some reason, Russ believes that 0 is the best number for some reason. I don't know why. So 1 is going to be inaccurate. It's going to be like resolving the shot and not keeping this curve. 60 is going to keep this curve and try to manage that with other factors. So if we do 50, it'll be less, 40, 30, 10, etc. So if I hit refine, it's going to keep this curve. It's going to use every other channel that wasn't filtered and locked with a motion. So the Y curve looks beautiful. Let's see how far we can go before it shifts back down. So that's 30 and refine. It's getting the jitters. I'm going to control Z to keep it. Let's do 40. Hit get to keep this curve. Refine. Yeah, 0.6. Maybe 50 was the best number, so I'm gonna do 50, hit get, fine. You can see it's getting a little jittery, but it's man-made, so it's probably without error. Let's see how it looks here. It's looking pretty good. I think it's pretty solid. Hit 5 here. Looks like it's sticking pretty well. Kind of good. I like it. If you see it's kind of like that, we're gonna go to View OpenGL. It's gonna be more smooth, more nice and crisp. Finer detail here in the lines. So if you have it off, it might be very jaggedy edges and not as crisp as these fine lines. So just to reiterate, this is OpenGL. You see that aliasing. And then View OpenGL, you can see it's more prettier. So, you know what? This looks pretty good. I'm satisfied with it. Camera motion's pretty good. If you want to add these guys, you can. It's just making the box and then extruding it outward. Nothing too difficult in that. But let's try to scale this scene. So, like before, we'll do the Earthling. Probably get a guy over here. And I think a human size would be like that. Probably this high. Maybe a little less. We could just scale him down. So I think a human, if I check the internet, it's about 5'6" or something. Yeah, 5 foot 5 inches. Let's round it up to 6. So from 6 feet 2 centimeters, 182. So I'm gonna see how this is. This guy's 270. Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna go here, divide it by this number over here, 237.224. We're going to multiply now the 237 by this number. Hit whole, effects meshes. It's going to multiply it and shrink the scene to make it so that the human is at the 6 feet with centimeters at 182. So if the human is the center of the world, we can put it that way. Doesn't really matter to me. So make sure the ground is at 0 and Y. This guy is also at 0. And the human is now 6 feet, so 182 centimeters. And that's pretty much it here. It's pretty good. Distortion-wise, what we could do is get this guy out of here so we could use it in Nuke. So what I like to do here is reset this to make it faster on us. It's caching, it's already done. Look at that. Huzzah. Beautiful. And if I want to keep that distortion and output it, we're going to hit P to output and we're going to save the sequence. But if you want to keep that curve you saw earlier, we're going to try to meld it into this. So lens workflow, redistort, margin of 2. If we hit OK, it's going to apply that distortion. Now you guys can probably see it better. It's going to be a little straighter than it was before. So now it's plugged there. So now I'm going to do save sequence. And you can make this a JPEG sequence you could use on Maya or any other software of your liking. Just make it whatever you feel like calling it. Usually it's best to keep the naming convention, so it's called 8Y8A0430 something. A shot. And then what we're going to do is add 0101. So it starts at frame 101. Usually it starts at frame 1001 or 101 in most studios. So we're going to use that. Hit JPEG. So it's going to save it as a JPEG. Compression settings at 1. If you hit start, it's going to render that out. It's fine. Just hit start if you want. And if we export this out, you can use this, or we can use this if it's already done for us. We're going to do a nuke scene, a Maya scene, and an FBX. The nuke script is going to have the undistort node and an ST map you can use to undistort. So it's going to have all those values. The Maya scene is going to have the camera animated, and that's the most important thing, so don't forget that. The film box is a geometry, so if you want these two guys separated, like the plane and the human as two separate objects, you can with FBX. And meshes is gonna just combine all of it into one mesh. So whichever one works for you guys, that's what you're gonna do. So export it to Maya, have fun with it. You can do your effects there or play around here some more if you want. But that's the general gist of it. Hope you enjoyed this simple scene. Let's move on to some harder stuff now.